Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and peace and blessings be upon you all. And welcome to today's Sohbet on this, the 10th of December 2025. Normally, I would do these on a Monday, but this week I was not able to because I was visiting the Michaela Community School in Wembley Park in London. I was invited by Catherine Birbal Singh, and I went there with my friend Harry Saul Markham. Both of us were interested in this school that has achieved amazing results and is held by many to be one of the best schools in the country, if not the best school. And so we wanted to see what this school was doing that has helped it to achieve this. Both of us were astonished by the focus of the pupils, by their how well behaved they were. They were very polite and well presented, and it was very obvious immediately upon walking into the school and visiting the classrooms and speaking to the students that what they do at Michaela Community School is very different from what happens in a lot of our comprehensive and even in private schools in this country. It's an astonishing achievement because Michaela Community School is ostensibly a normal, comprehensive state school. But the way the school is run, the policies, the education, this is what distinguishes it. And it's not exactly in one of the best areas as well in terms of the intake of the students. Many of them come from less well-off backgrounds, and it's not like they're not from privileged backgrounds or anything like that. Which shows it's not about that. The closest thing that I've seen to what I witnessed on Monday is the pesantrons and schools that I visited in Indonesia. Similarly there, I was struck by the students' focus on their education and on how well educated they were actually. This is something that struck me at Michaela Community School as well, because the students are knowledgeable. A lot more so than what you would generally expect for their age in this country. Similarly, when I went to Indonesia, I found that many of the students were quite mature for their age, quite knowledgeable, and well focused on their education and on their futures. Now, these are really vitally important points because education is the foundation of everything else that we do in life. Many parents even move deliberately to particular localities in this country, and I suspect the same is true elsewhere in the world, so that they can more easily send their children to particular schools or fall within the school's catchment. This shows just how much parents are concerned about the education of their children. I know many parents also coach their children on the 11 plus and try to get their children into a grammar school. We all understand, or at least a lot of us understand, the importance of getting education right. And yet, I mean, I went to this school, really astonished me as to how well focused the students were. And I visited so many of the schools in the country and I didn't see what I saw there. And why is that? And it comes from so many different angles because the the students there also have a sense of unity within the school. Even when I went out on the playground at lunchtime, I saw them in small little groups talking to each other, and some were playing basketball and stuff. There was No bullying or teasing or anything like that, which you would normally see on a school playground. This in itself is quite astonishing because, I mean, I have children myself, and I was also I remember the days when I was at school. Teasing and bullying are incredibly common in this country, and I didn't see that there. Instead, I saw a supportive environment where the students were focused on learning. In the classrooms, when the teacher asked a question, all of the children put their hands up and tried to give a good answer to the question. This level of engagement, I literally haven't witnessed anywhere else, even in Indonesia. Now, why shouldn't it be like that? What could we be doing better in our other schools in this country, and why isn't this being encouraged more? I mean, I have every confidence that the students who leave that school are going to have good grades, and they're going to be much better prepared for whatever they choose to do next in their lives, whether they decide to go on an apprenticeship or whether they decide to go to university or take on anything else, simply because of the focus and the fact that they are clearly learning in class. I my hands up to Catherine Berbel Singh on instituting the reforms at the school that has made this possible. And I'm sure it couldn't have been an easy task, especially when some of this goes against, what a lot of things that are being pushed in at the moment in this country in terms of policy to do with education. The focus is being put on things which are not really going to necessarily benefit the education of the students, but sound good on paper. And I think really do need to get back to basics of what is important, ensuring that our children are literate, our children are good at maths, English, science, and also that our children are focused on learning first and being successful in their education, and then taking the steps forward for their careers going forwards, and having an aspirational goal in mind as to what they want to achieve. And you don't always see that in every school environment in this country. I'm not saying this is the only school that's good. I mean, my second daughter goes to a particularly good school in Wolverhampton, and I'm quite impressed with what they're doing too. But there, there it seems to be a decline in the standard of education in this country, and also in discipline and focus amongst their young people. I do wonder whether some of the reforms that have been brought in over the past decade or so, which have been focused on things that aren't really to do with education, but are instituted in the education environment, may have impacted that and have created confusion. And instead of looking at the basic fundamentals of education and what's trying to be achieved, and ensuring that there is discipline in the classroom, ensuring that focus is encouraged, and people take their education seriously from an early age. If students don't take their education seriously, then what are they going to take seriously? The education is the fundamental start and building blocks of what either goes on to higher education or into a work environment. They don't take their education that seriously. How are they going to take seriously their career development going forwards? If aspiration isn't inculcated in young people at an early age, how are they going to aspire as they get older? If young people don't learn to start taking important things seriously, when will they learn? And some of the things I've mentioned here, I think many of us will be aware that there are issues with this within the wider society. A lot of our societal ills and problems can be traced back to people who have a lack of discipline and good conduct, a lack of focus, a lack of aspiration, or their focus is on the wrong things that are not necessarily constructive and will not necessarily benefit them going forwards. Look at how much reading has declined as a society. And instead, people are getting their information from TikTok and other social media, from 30-second videos. I'm not knocking TikTok particularly. It's just a social media channel. You can actually put things on there that are inspirational too. But we shouldn't be getting our facts and our knowledge and understanding of things from 30-second videos. How can you understand anything from a 30-second video? It's not possible. You only get that through focus, through learning how to study, to research, to take that responsibility yourself, to ensure that you're putting the effort in. And we have to start that from an early age. That effort in learning, but that effort also in our work, in our families, in our community, in our country, working for ourselves, but also for our families, for our communities, for our society. Young people need to learn that from an early age. This is what particularly impressed me in Indonesia when I saw that in the pesantrens and schools there. They do teach that from an early age. They do encourage that from an early age. And they also encourage young people, if they can, to spend a couple of years in the Scouts when they finish their formal education. These sort of programs help build the kind of young people that will become good citizens and successful people within the society as a whole. And the more people like that you have in any community and in any society, the more successful the actual society and the country will be. What are we investing in this as a country? Anyway, my hands up to Catherine Berbel Singh and Michaela Community School. You really are inspirational, and I heartily encourage anyone who can visit the school and can see what they're doing there and then take on board some of the ideas and lessons within your own schools, within your own communities. I think this is highly recommended and would be greatly beneficial. So please, if you can, do that. And don't just look at what you hear in the media. This is also another thing, because there was a few things that have appeared in the media over the years about this school, even though a lot of it's been positive. But there's been a few things that have appeared in the media that have portrayed the school in a very different light to the one that's the reality. Remember, if you hear something secondhand, you don't necessarily know what the facts are. If you can find out for yourself, find out for yourself. This has got to be better. And the school actually does have a policy where, people can actually contact them and they will invite you to come and visit. And you can see what they're doing. So I highly recommend that if you're curious and you don't know, there's no better way than seeing for yourself. And maybe it will cause you to think and reflect as it has me. May Allah help us all learn and be among the educated. and educate our young people to the best of our ability and encourage them in the best of ways so that they can have good futures. May Allah bless you all. I wish you all a very good evening and the rest of the week. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of God be with you all.